Hey guys, welcome to another episode of What Surfing Really Looks Like. Remember, I might have to pause for the airplanes. I live very close to JFK. And you want to get some popcorn? This is a long one. The raw video is almost 30 minutes, and we're going to go through it with some slow motion. This is a session I had on October 18th, 2024. Found this little beach break with nobody out. A-frames left and right. There were more lefts than rights, but they were going both ways. Tide was really high. As you can see here, it's a full moon. So that affected the tidal cycle. This was low pressure that came into the New York region. And yeah, so let's get into it. I'm stoked to see waves with nobody out. There might have been better places, but you know, you don't get this very often. Here's the very first wave that I caught. Just getting into it. This was an inside wave actually, and I was pumped for this to be my first wave. Couple little turns, and then just landing right on the sand here. Getting pretty excited. Celebrating, can't stop celebrating. And then had Krishna with me. We had driven out from Manhattan this day, actually. He's riding the 7.6 Barahona, kind of a more aspirational shape for him right now. He doesn't know how to duck dive quite yet, but he does get the concept, as you can see right there. This isn't a duck dive, but I actually do recommend doing this for a lot of newer surfers. You can see he's standing in the water, and he's gonna jump on top of the board to kind of thrust it under this little wave. He could have had a little bit more lower body control there, but overall that's a good thing for kind of newer surfers to get into. Next wave, and close out two. Can't make them all. And maybe other places, again, were a little bit better, but let's check this one out. There I am clearing my hips off. And yeah, for those people who ask about like, yeah, my toes are not touching anything, I'm not jumping off the back of the surfboard. The idea is just to get the fins to lock into the wave. And I want to reiterate, very minute amount of time here. So this only becomes apparent when you break this down with video slow motion. It's harder to see. This is one of those things that's so hard to see when you just watch a surfer who's been surfing their whole life just stand up. Feet hit, pump. Butt's gonna drop right there, which you know from the How to Get Tubed frontside video. Nice little still. This is the kind of still that you like, boop, screen capture and share it with your friends. Didn't make it, of course, but they don't have to know that. And yeah, tube closed out on me, but gotta pull in, gotta get the vision sometimes. This happens too, you know, when you're on the inside and you can't get your board in time, nobody's out. It's okay to leave the board behind you in those kind of cases. You don't want to ditch I wasn't ditching my board there. All right, me and Krishna, I'm just keeping busy. It was a little cold this morning. Missed that one. Krishna's first wave. All right, so this is pretty good. You would think that from here he's going to have a good session. I don't go on that one. And this is, for a guy that's been surfing for really like about a year, this is not bad. Let's just take a look at this in slow motion. Nice pop-up. Sets the line. He's a little far forward on the board, but that's not an issue necessarily with this kind of wave. Ducks his head, pulls under the hood, and it was a closeout. This is, again, this is pretty good pop-up into Pig Dog for somebody who has not been surfing for a super long time. We'll just watch my little shopping here. I'm looking at this one, and something about that, probably this bounce and how small the wave was. I was like, no. Now looking at it, maybe I should have gone. Hindsight 2020. Okay, we're checking out Krishna here. Pops up, wave bounces, that's the high tide and the backwash surfing the Shorebreak, and he tucked into that little thing, so well done to him there. The rest of the session did not go that great for him. I'm moving over to the shoulder on this one, getting under it, pop up, wee little head dip, and kick out. No shoulder left for me to ride on that one. Let's check out this paddle. I talk about this a lot in the video reviews that I do with my clients. So you can see I'm looking up at this lip line right here, and I'm trying to get in the right position to take off. And I explain to people a lot that you want to figure out where you want to sit to take off by looking out to sea, not by turning your back to the wave and then looking side to side. So you want to position by seeing, here I don't have the issue of, am I going to burn somebody? The only person to burn is Krishna, and we're out there taking turns, and there's so many waves anyway. So looking up, looking up, looking up. I want to get just far enough to the shoulder that I'm not too far behind it. Then I stall and go straighter. I've decided I've gotten far enough this way. Probably didn't have to actually go that far to the shoulder. Again, hindsight 2020, that's why we watch video review. Probably could have taken off over here and got a better tube. This is a pop-up that's so fast because I'm under the lip, right? That you can't really see that millisecond thing. Let's see, 1/8. But it's there. It's just very fast. Just got right to my feet. And there's the wave. Wow, breathes. And I'm going to try to tuck into this little head dip. And then the wave just does not have much after this. Not much shoulder on that one. I think we're both kind of freaking out at this point about how beautiful it is and just being the only ones out. I saw a lot of rights in the beginning, but a lot of them were also trickier and closing out. You do have the luxury of going for a lot of waves when you don't have to really share. And here what I'm doing is just taking off on a lot of stuff and testing to see what is going to be good. That one didn't work out. There were moments, I think what this highlights too is that there are moments within a session where, you know, you're not going to totally be in rhythm. You have to just keep trying things out. There I went for that right, didn't really tube on me. For me, tide's just getting higher and higher. Surfing the incoming tide here. Seagull's like, whoa. Let me see if there's anything to eat down here. Inside wave, has a bounce. And I didn't pull that move. Let's check this out. I see this little section, gear up for the bottom turn, go up, hit it, and the nose just picks. Not gonna cry over that one. The wave had a bounce on me. Maybe could have kicked through with my tail a little bit more. I think I was probably more just laughing at myself because the next wave was so good. Like, wow, I really should have waited. That's what's hard about the strategy of going for a lot. You might miss some good ones. Here's Krishna. There, the bounce got him there. He went a little bit too much to the shoulder. I'm on the next one. A little pocket turn here and avoided that closeout for the sake of fins and knees. Just gonna push this little surfboard under the water. This is the start of Krishna's out of rhythm, basically. Taking it, yep, just nope. And this is a skill that maybe is a little underrepresented in surfing. Why we do these What Surfing Really Looks Like videos in the first place. The quick kick out when you decide, yeah, not really. I'm not gonna really go on this one. So, like I said, my strategy was kind of, nobody's out, there are a ton of waves, I'm just gonna keep trying. Maybe it will open up for me. The waves were unpredictable in a certain kind of way that like I couldn't tell exactly what the perfect position was going to be on all of them or which ones were going to hit that inside sand really perfectly. So yeah, again, I had the luxury. I did the homework to find this spot. I'd been scouting it for a couple years now, actually. I kind of keep my eyeballs on this one. And I know what tides and swells and winds work here. Happened to be working today. And I got the payoff of being able to get a lot of waves. Get right to my feet and don't drop to the bottom. This is a key thing. So I don't drop to the bottom. I'm looking up here and I see that the wave is going to close out. So instead of even trying maneuver or spending any extra energy, I'm just going to pop right off the top. Really casual stance, and there's just so little body movement here. That's what is really interesting. It's really just an intention to get off the wave. Come on. Here's the intention. And what is happening is there's just a slight press through the fins. This can be done on any surfboard just to get me to come up. Oh, man, I hate when this app does that. And this is a long one too, so it's gonna be like... Here we go. All right. Sorry about that. Can't say that's not gonna happen again. This is a great app. It's called My Dartfish Pro, in case you're a coach and you're looking at a good app. But it has some quirks, and that's one of them. If you like right on the wrong way, it goes all the way back. Little set wave here. And tube closed out on me, but that was a nice wave. Let's take a look at that again. Krishna goes over the top. Just get those fins engaged. Step on that back pad, get low, and ride it as long as you can. Closeout tubes are worthwhile when you can get in and have that long ride. Krishna, oh, just bucked him off again. Sweet little pocket ride. There's a closeout that was makeable, and that's interesting. That's why you do have to test a lot of waves. It's hard to tell sometimes whether the closeout is going to be makeable. Let's take a look at this one. I'm far enough back on this one. Get to my feet. Grab the wall immediately when I stand up to slow myself down. Even with both hands, this is the double hand drag. You use both hands to slow yourself down front side. Pretty popular and effective technique. That is an issue with frontside tube riding. Sometimes you can go too fast. Drop that butt. Slowing myself down. And then this is the moment where you're like, okay, you see that little, it's not the world's deepest tube ride. Would not count for much at a surf contest or anything, but this is like kind of why we go surfing though, to get waves like this. That'll do, you know. Body got covered. Board did not get covered. It's not deep. But just enough that it lets me right on out. I'm going to get back over the fins. I was surfing a little forward there. Back over the fin to just let the closeout happen. And straighten out. Be done with it. The board I'm riding is very light. It's Firewire Tomo 5.4. Little backside knot tube. I was really hunting for those rights, but they were tricky. That one, I got the little hung up in the lip there. That's worth looking at. See what goes on here. Maybe I could have paddled just a little bit more, but the wave breathed. And it was just super difficult for me to get here on this wave. That happens. That's why we need a fast pop-up. And then it did allow me to get a little bit of a bottom turn here. And just click a little turn. Just a little check. Would have had more control and more speed if I wouldn't have gotten hung up there. Here's that board. So it's a Tomo 5.4, 24 liters. I'm also wearing a very old Isurus zipperless 3mm wetsuit. I've had it for like, I don't know, like 6 or 7 years now. It was great in the beginning. It does, you'll see some footage, it flushes a little. And then I'm riding the Mick Fanning medium-sized thruster set. I do like these fins, and this board a lot, but they do have a threshold of like the size of waves and the power of the waves that I can ride them on. You can see that there are moments when this board just looks like a little bit too light and skittish. So it's very fast, very responsive, sometimes just a little too light and skittish. I like it overall quite a bit. And then here is the more advanced version of the thing that Krishna was trying to do. So take note here, obviously this is easier with the tiny little surfboard. Let's look at it really quickly. I'm running at the wave and I'm just gonna put all my power over, but the key is the lower body sinking the board under. So I'm gonna run at this wave. Then I'm gonna put the board down in the water and get the lower body over. See this? See the lower body go over right there? And it's really the lower body pressing through. Watch all 3 of my duck diving videos. This is the technique no matter what kind of board you're riding. There's a little bit of a nuance to it when you're riding a larger board. But a great way to practice is to do this in that waist deep water from the standing position, because you get that leverage from jumping off the sand onto the board and an ability to get that lower body over the tail. Remember, if your lower body's not over the tail, in pretty much all of surfing, the surfing does not work very well. And just pop right on up the other side there. I'm on another wave. And I just kick out. That one didn't have much. More of my little testing strategy. PETA is here to go over the next wave with you. That one got hung up. That's surfing. Woof, Krishna got really slammed right here. This is what I mean too when I say that the lower body, you know, he's trying to save the inevitable with his arms. First of all, he picked a terrible wave, and he's trying to stop the inevitable from happening, but he has no lower body control of the surfboard right here, so it just kind of goes wrong for him. He did not get hurt on this wave. He did get hurt later in the session. Totally fine. He had a redemption session 2 days later. Boom. Again, there's that movement, that side movement. This wave does not turn out very well for me, but I just want you to see that you need to move laterally to the peak many times to get where you need to go. You can't just sit there and wait for like some perfect wave to come to you, especially if you're surfing beach break. Up and high line with the backwash got me there. Next one, a little bit better. So for people who are looking to do turns, I mean, obviously there's a turn section right here, but I wasn't quite going fast enough, and I just needed a little extra speed. We'll just look at this simple, like, front side carve turn. Notice the back foot go back over the tail here. Bottom turn, shoulders are open, I'm eyeballing where I want to hit. Move into the pivot. Press through with that back foot. Shoulders are open. Push through. And the arms kind of counter rotate. And that just happens naturally. That's something that's going to be different in everybody's style. If I wanted to wrap it around, maybe more like Kelly Slater or something, this arm would have come up, this arm would have driven around, and my eyes would have looked that way. So that counter rotation turn would have worked here. Or like if I would have had a little bit like more, sorry, not counter rotation, but if I would have had a little over rotation of my upper body. The key, and I'll be going through this more in the future, when you over rotate the upper body first, or you lead with the upper body, the key is that you're following through with the lower body. So many times people just swing the upper body and the lower body's not doing anything. The default better off thing to do is just to make sure you're engaging that lower body. Even if the arms do something a little bit funky or like something you're not expecting, it always looks better if you follow through with the lower body. Back up over the fins, back up over the back half of the board, and then the wave is pretty much done for me there. Oh, this one was such a bummer to miss, but sometimes you're just not in the right position. I remember I could not get out far enough for this wave. So I'm just sitting here enjoying how good that wave looks down the line. And if I could have been up here taking off or back here taking off, that would have been ideal. But sometimes you just can't get there, and you still have to enjoy what the ocean is throwing out at you. I mean, I'm just looking at the tube. I mean, yeah, some people can take off right there and just get into the tube. Krishna had a hard go on that one. But what a wave. There's a classic A-frame right there. Right and left. Can't win them all. So our beaches have been under crazy construction, and there you can see the tire tracks and just how high that full moon tide is coming up right here. Here I'm trying for a very small inside wave. But then it hit the sand and it kind of ran. And there's my... I'm really bad at airs, but you know, I'm trying. 44 years old, you gotta try new things. Just trying to get the speed. Here's where it hits the sand. And the wave looked bad when I took off. Going for the mid-face style one. Jumping up in the air, which is, you know, what I assume you kind of have to do. Just jump. Didn't really get too much clearance. And then my Achilles heel with these things is I fall back. Like if I could just land more straight on top, I will pull that. I've pulled one since getting fitter, and I'm hoping to pull a few more. But like also this hand is back. Probably need to just keep it in front of me and like have somebody told me to move my eyes more towards the beach. Oh, and there it did that thing again. Let's go forward. And then you're going to see a funny thing, what I mentioned about this wetsuit. So I do love this Isurus wetsuit, but they've since changed the entry so it doesn't do this. It does flush a little bit, and you'll see, look at my face here. Kaboom. Now watch my face. Right there, I'm like, water just came in. Anyway, the water's starting to get a little colder here, and that did not feel good. Can't complain. The suit has lasted me a really long time. Krishna got on one, just didn't trust himself there. Me trying another. Oh, that turn actually felt really good, and then I'm right in the sand. Take a look at that one. It's interesting to see that these waves that kind of didn't look like much, like honestly, they were medium inside waves, not big sets, not tiny waves, but just like medium ones were really the best waves. So you take off and the wave doesn't look like much. I will say something too, actually, just about my style and history, is when I do this takeoff and I get into this little ball right here, see this? See how I take off and stay super low? That is literally from watching so much Tom Curran footage when I was a kid. And even though he's regular foot, I just always was attracted to that style of standing up and staying in this little low ball. And I've watched a lot of footage of myself and thought I was low. Then I went back to the Tom Curran footage. And in no way do I say I surf as well as Tom Curran. I'm just saying that I have idolized him and took cues from things that I liked about his style and tried to integrate them into my own. And this is one hallmark right here, is that I like to stay into that little ball so that I can, you know, hopefully explode out of it, generate speed from it. Because when you have that crouch and you're holding that crouch down to the bottom, that push off there, you get a lot of torque from that. So that got me up into this higher part of the wave. This little check, and I'm able to push through. You can really see how light this board is too, how when I do the pumps, like the board comes out of the water, it's so light. Now here I'm really eyeballing this section. I already know I'm gonna do some kind of end section maneuver. That's key for those who are still struggling with end section maneuvers. You really do have to see them early and prepare for them early. One more kind of deeper pump here, still eyeballing that section. Yeah, there you see in the pump. Let's go super slow right here. No, it's just a little further back than that. Push down and then push through, leading with the back foot. Right there, you can see how like the whole board kind of comes out of the water a little bit. Now I'm gonna gear up, still eyeballing that section. Open the shoulders up. Now I'm just gonna lift the board up onto the lip. Just gonna lift it. These moves are way more about finesse than power. And yeah, this board even got like a little bit of air going over the lip here just because it's so light. And you know, my backhand has a tendency to go back like that. I keep working on it, keeps doing it. I guess it's part of my style. I'm not gonna cry over it. What I do right here is that I keep my body in line over the board as the bounce happens. And I'm a little ahead of the bounce too, which helps. The sand is just right here. And it just landed straight down. Felt really good. To the bonus runoff in the sand. That's how you surf Shorebreak. You got to send it into the sand when you surf Shorebreak. You can't really care too much about your fins or your equipment. Don't be too precious about them. Usually the best part of the wave happens like really close to shore when you're surfing Shorebreak. And that might be just a huge takeaway from this what surfing really looks like in general. This is classical, what I would call classical Shorebreak. You can see how close the sand is here. A little hung up there, and just there was no hope for me to get on top of that section. I think that was kind of fun. Breathed on me, and then just launched the board. Sure. Try it. This one's a little slow. Tried another air. Gotta keep trying them. You're never too old to try. Let's see what I do wrong here. Gearing up for it. It's again, you know, my continued thing. I did it a little late and I'm not getting like this hand, I'm like not getting up over the board. So gotta keep working on that. It's closer though, in a way. It's closer, like if I could just, you know, get up and get over the board, probably be pulling some of these. Probably have another like 15 years of my surfing to try, keep going at this. I don't know, but maybe I can do it better at 70. Let's see. Just keep press and go on these. This is a fun one, little head dipper. You know, I wouldn't claim that as a full two, but this is another benefit of that super low stance. Can really sit over the fins and slow yourself down. And also then when the wave like smacks you, like it smacks me here, you don't get knocked off. So push that board into the wave, get that hip clearance, stay in that low crouch here. And this time I don't really come out of it at all. Notice that? So there just shows the variety in surfing, where the other wave I showed you where I was in the low ball, I kind of came out of it, extended my body, and proceeded into that pump. Where here I just stayed in the low stance and now I'm gonna sit on my fins. Just sitting on my fins, slowing down in the tiniest little ball. And yeah, the tube doesn't stay very open on this one, but I'm in a compact enough stance just to muscle through it and kick at it at the end of the ride for a pretty complete little wave. Didn't go for that one. Tide's just getting higher and higher at this point. This is just showing more of my strategy. Get a lot of waves and like totally fail on some of them, and then some are sick. Look at this one, face flop. Gotta keep it real. Face flop. We all do it. Good pause in here. And this is because it's had this backwash, and not every drop was easy to make. The wind was starting to get harder offshore, and just did not get into that wave early enough. The nose buries right there. I did pull it through, but then I'm just behind the section. So there's no hope for me there. And it's just, you know, humanizing. We need more humanity in surfing, I think. Now I'm gonna try out a little right, pull in, nothing there. Still always good to get that form and get under the wave. At this point, Krishna is doing a wetsuit change because he got so cold. So if you're like, where is he? He got cold. Transitional time of year here. Got hung up again on that one. Little check turn. And just kick out. Moving all around the lineup. You see this constant movement. I'm also freezing cold. So I'm trying to stay warm and figure out which waves are going to do the things for me. Notice how these little inside waves really have something that the sets kind of don't have. Another think. Krishna's back out there. We both just missed this, whoa, really sick one. That spit. Here he goes. And I think getting cold really gassed him. Me, falling again, falling out of the sky. And yeah, he just could not pick a wave for the life of him this session. And this is a point in this session where I get into this mini rhythm, which is really interesting. You notice I fell on a bunch of waves, had some cool turns, had some fun closeout tubes. I've had moments when the wave I surfed better than others during this session. And you notice that kind of the kick out onlys, the falls, they happen in these spurts where they happen like right back to back. And then the rhythm also can kind of start to happen in succession, which is very interesting. So check out this wave. Krishna didn't want anything to do with it, and I was more in position. This one I had a much better luck of being under the lip. So here I'm under it rather than the ones where I got hung up on the top of it. He's back out. He's in a different wetsuit. He did bring 2 wetsuits this session. And I'm able to stand up under the lip. Oh wait, this is a wipeout. Ha! Never mind. Hilarious. Well, where's the good one? You gotta wipe out to get the good ones. Oh, it's after Krishna misses this one. Okay. Oh, that was it. Well, I did get under the lip a little bit better there. So, just able to break through that lip line way better. And even though it breathed on me, I was able to like get that line, right? Double hand dragging again. Sit that butt down. Get a little pump right there. And then I'm gonna force my way through this lip. Because I wanted to make it. Sometimes you gotta get through that doggy door. Kick the board out in celebration. Another little wave here. So, carve back to the power source and a kick out. That carve felt good. It's that ball extending. And just a simple surfing turn. Which honestly, this can be done on a variety of size of surfboards. And we just need to keep our eyes on the prize of like what constitutes complete and solid surfing for just an average surfer, you know? We're not trying to win titles here, just go from A to B, get a few little tubes, do a few little cutbacks. The key is that it has flow. It's better to do things with flow. Oh, Sometimes it flows right on your head. Funky little inside wave with a lot of bounce on it. Going for another right, and yeah, not quite on that one. Krishna trying again. Pretty close. Bad wave selection though. This is the continuation of that rhythm that I was getting into. Once again, this is the key takeaway here, surfing these shorebreak conditions. Like I was saying, it's those medium good ones. The wave doesn't look like much, but it has a better shape. Doing the double hand drag here. Butt is super low. I move back over the fins, crunch up into a smaller ball. Wave has that bounce, but I just stay in that center line, and at this point, it's really like thrown over, solidly in there. And I get completely covered, which is cool. When you can't see the board, you know you're in there. And then it just opened right there and had like the tiniest little like whoosh, that felt good. And Krishna was on the shoulder, and Nick, my next student, was coming out. Straightened out, double shaka, and we got a shaka from Krishna there. He saw it from the shoulder. Yeah, he saw it. So that's always sick, and that's part of surfing with friends. In this case, I'm helping them move around the lineup. And yeah, some coaching sessions, the coach gets all the waves, and if you're an intermediate beginning surfer, you get fewer waves because you're just learning to move around a lineup, you know? Krishna, like I said, had an incredible session 2 days after this. Sometimes those out of rhythm sessions just really set you up to have an awesome one down the road. Just like how there's those rhythms within these sessions as well. You have to have those moments of out of rhythm, back in rhythm again. Out of rhythm, back in rhythm again. Next wave. And another little cover up. So that's definitely a rhythm when you get like one cover up and then you get another little cover up. Same form. You guys already know that you can go to my how to get tubed frontside video to get really detailed instructions for how to pop into the tube. One of the takeaways though from I think this whole entire what surfing really looks like is that it took me a lot of tries to find the kind of waves that would do the tube. So a lot of wipeouts, a lot of face plants, a lot of failed drops, a lot of closeouts before you get the ones that let you out. Little nice moment right there. And went low road again to get out of it. I've been burned so many times going high road, but I got to start going high road again. And here comes Nick. Nick was late because of traffic. He was bummed about that. He has a Still Blue wetsuit. Small little brand out of New York and Tokyo, and so far for me, they make the warmest suits on the market. I kind of wished I was in my Still Blue in this wetsuit, in this session. Here goes Nick, first try. And hard to say whether he should have gone on that wave. Here he goes again. Just missed it. And just a little hung up and lost the fins here. So Nick has a little more experience than Krishna, and he's out here sending it a little harder. A little hung up at the top here. His hands are sticky on the board. His front leg got a little stuck, and yep, just gets hung up. Gets the board to almost engage, but never fully planted. The wave closed out. No harm, no foul there. Krishna, finally on one that might stay open, but Nick is on the inside. So we see now there's 3 of us instead of just 2. And this is a thing that happens even when you're surfing with your friends. Your friend goes on the wave before you. whether he or she wipes out or not, but they're on the inside. And if you want the one behind them and they're there, you don't run your friend over. You kind of want to, but you don't, because there are always more waves. I just barely missed that little right. Nick with the nice duck dive. Nick just missing that one. Then me missing that tube. Coming out of nowhere. Yeah, it just clamped on me a bit there. Moving to the shoulder again. Getting underneath it. Hopping on the feet. And clicking a little turn. That turn felt good, actually. Check it out. So this is a little bit more of a set wave. Up early, up under it, no real problem making the drop. Not gonna get tubed. So I place the bottom turn right at the bottom of the wave. This is a wave that you can do a bottom turn on. It has enough wall. You need a wave with wall to do a bottom turn. And I have upcoming at-home bottom turn exercises. And one of the reasons why it's very hard to simulate a bottom turn at home is that your floor does not allow you to do this same thing with gravity that you're allowed to do in the water. So I lean over and I'm eyeballing the section. Eyes are always just so key in surfing, and I think I'll say that across this channel like a zillion times. We'll just keep going, a zillion. Never gonna stop talking about how important your eyes are in your surfing. Come up into that pocket. Arms are open, shoulders are squared off, foot's over the tail. And there's something so Californian about this turn. It's funny, I'm from California, and just looking at this image of myself turning, there's just something so Californian about it. Little speed turn, felt good. And the wave didn't have much else after that, so I just kicked out. Hunting for rights. I'm really hunting for rights at this point. Here goes Nick. Pretty good form on his takeoff here. Comes in from behind the section. Gets that rail engaged. Digs his body in. Pretty great pig dog form for him. And the wave was just too white and messy. But Nick is employing that strategy of you just got to keep sending until you find the right ones. You've seen I've in the course of this video, I've sent it many times and found nothing. Krishna picked a good one. He just did not paddle enough. See this? Where's he at? He just pushed up a little bit too early. He needed to just get down just a little bit more. And that would have taken his eyes probably, let's look at him. It's hard to see, actually, but he probably wasn't projecting his vision far enough down the line. Probably wasn't looking over here, because over here in a way is safer to look than right here. And got a little jumpy. Yeah, got a little jumpy and just stood up a little too soon. That was an okay right. It eventually closed out, but it was better wave judgment for him, from him for sure. Me on another little insider, little check. Oh, that was fun. Another land on the shore floater. I like these little speed check turns. Like I said, you just want to surf with flow. I'm just getting up to the higher part of the wave, not trying to muscle through or do anything too crazy here, just trying to keep speed down the line. Then I see this section, you can see me seeing, once again, just double down on this, the eyes, the eyes, the eyes. And the other thing in terms of the lesson of surfing shorebreak, I'm not fearing the sand, not caring about the sand or looking at where the beach is. It's just still all about the wave. I've already made up my mind that I'm going to try things very close to shore. Go for the rail grab here. And that kind of pops me. This board just has so much pop, which is really cool. It just popped me like out the back of the wave. It's not an air. The board did get air right there. Kind of like I kind of flew out of the wave and then back into it here. PETA, stop. Come here. Sorry. She's chewing on something in the room. And come down into the sand. You guys know PETA. She's gonna do some video review now. Yes, PETA. I see you, thank you. Nick. And let's see what happens with Nick here. Probably should have just held his line and tucked into this thing. So we see Nick. Here he goes. Not terrible form. But what Nick does right here is he doesn't get high enough up into this line and then drop the butt. Remember, for the frontside tube riding technique, we want to get up into the center line, drop the butt, and then just hold it and let that wave peel over you. So he's just still extended. And then here, he's kind of committed to jumping through, but he could have been riding the center line, butt low, holding the arms, keeping the eyes up, and just tube stancing, letting the thing throw over him. Probably would have been the better strategy. Just to get this section right here, you know? To go over him. At least see that vision. Because if you're not trained to see that vision, you need way more opportunities to train yourself to see that vision. And maybe you get in there and the lip slams on your head. You're like, okay, well, that one didn't do it. If we have video, we can see that that's the case. And you were at least trying. Get this line off of here. Just a little attempt at going right. Nick, oof. Hung up on this one. He just waited a little long here. So we see him. And he did not break down into the face long enough to get the center line, to get the fins engaged, to see whether the wave would pitch over him again. Just hung up right there. And then his body is going to become extended. See that? The wave had that breathing in it, and he's a little too over the front foot at this point. And that nose picks. He did pick a good wave, though. And face plant, and the tube goes off. Here I go. Looks like another little closeout tube. Nobody going for that closeout. Now at this point, the swell is actually starting to get bigger. It's starting to pulse, and the backwash is getting worse, believe it or not. Here I go. Nope. Nick. Yep. And then I was so stoked. Just because from my image, you know, somebody I've coached for a number of years, just getting a wave this beautiful. Yeah, he's not in the tube, but the watercolor is, everything's there, and like that's what we're out there to do. Also, even if he was just my surf buddy, when your buddy gets a wave, and it's so beautiful, you just want to celebrate, right? Let's check out Nick's takeoff here. Nice kicking and just full on getting in there. His eyes could be looking a little more down the line, but he looks up pretty early, and Nick has great pig dog form. Maybe if he would have dragged his body more in the wall, like really stuck himself into the wall of this wave, it would have been messy from the vision, like from this vision we're seeing here. It would be messy because he would be creating a splash or whatever. But to really get this to slow down enough, like I talk about in the backside tube riding video, you gotta really stick that body in the wall and use the fact that you have all of this that you can dig in there to create drag. Because remember, speed is important in surfing, but it's more about the control of your speed. So yeah, he just outran that little section just a little bit. And then kicks out. Pretty nice. Pretty nice, Nick. Krishna. All of his confidence is gone. He's picking bad waves. Here I go. Nope. Definitely the ocean started doing something weird at this point, and you can tell also for filming, the sun has moved more. Mitch would have had to move a little bit. This wave was interesting because Nick was kind of in position, but I was more inside. I'm like, I'm just going to take that one off you. And you can see it's all in the glare here, but I got super tubed on this one and did not make it out. It did close out on me. Then Krishna goes for another, getting really glary out there. And then Nick goes for this one. So you can see Nick right here. Another good wave. He's maybe pushing a little hard on the pig dog here for a not tubing wave. These are waves that Nick could maybe be doing turns on. But what happens is that one of these waves, I actually went on that and I got a super long backside tube, but it was right into the sun and Mitch didn't catch it. So your best wave's never going to get caught on film. I'll tell you that right now. Right? So Nick kicks out. I'm getting tubed over there. And then Mitch is like searching for me. Mitch is like looking down the beach because he sees me pop up over there and he films down the beach and there's this excellent wave right here. There were waves all over. There were really waves all over this spot we were surfing. Still looking for me. And I'm back out there and I'm going left. And basically, at this point, my session is pretty much almost over. Getting pretty cold. This is almost 3 hours of surfing at this point. There goes Nick. I kind of chided him on this one because I was on the inside. And this kind of looks like the right that I got. So, love Nick. Love all my students. This is a barrel dodge. So, let's look at this. He decides not to pull in. Like, once again, he's a little bit turned over on his toes. Butt's not down low enough. He doesn't get into the center of the wave. So here what he have to do is he just has to turn and drop his butt and pull down up underneath that thing. So remember from all the tube riding videos, you just need to be in this center line so that lip can come over you. Looks pretty good at this moment. But he sees it and is like, right here, this is where the dodge happens, where he decides, no. But you gotta get in there. You gotta get in there. Nick knows. He's ashamed. He may do it again. We all barrel dodge from time to time. It's not about shaming Nick, but it's about helping people see that you gotta have some faith, take that center line, and pull into the tube, because you don't know. Once you start having faith, he would have made it out of this tube. And how stoked would he have been? Once you start having that faith and getting into those tubes, which might start with closeout tubes, Some are just gonna stay open, and you're gonna come out, and you're gonna be like, what just, whoa. So, gotta have the faith. Yeah, he would have made it out of that one. For sure. I know, because I made it out of one of those. Not on video, but I did. Go again. It's a little check, and I don't know what happened here. Where am I at? I don't know. The wheels are coming off the bus at this point. I think this is my last wave. Yeah. I'm like, yes, this was enough. It was a great session. Little note, though. Funny little note. I've talked about this before. Wave is your taxi. But notice how high my hips are off the board as I'm riding this wave in. Why? So that I can control the tail as I come to the sand. So I don't like just, okay, I have said many times, like, don't care about the sand. But when you're in like this controlled of a state, you do want to care about the sand. You do want to like come in controlled. You don't just want to run your fins in the sand on your like little belly ride in. So I'm controlling the tail, just going slow so that my lower body can just like come off and I can run up out of this. All right? Controlled the ending. Now I'm in the shallow water. And I'm just gonna run up the beach. All right, this is later that evening. And I wanted this bonus footage. This is me filming now. I actually had a whole other 2 other sessions between that one and this one. This is a offshore all day, surf all day situation. And I was filming my client, Ben, who didn't catch any waves, so I didn't get any footage of him. But I'm just filming these waves, and I wanted to share this at the end of this What Surfing Really Looks Like with you, because you can see the overall funkiness in this swell as it got bigger. I mean, it's great, don't get me wrong. A lot of people would froth to surf these waves. But you could see that funky, lumpy, look at this guy just gets trashed. And then it closes out. This is a different spot, not the same waves. You can see jetties here. And the right's really turned on this swell. It's interesting. Much more crowded. And yeah, there's that funk and lump and bump. Great conditions to learn how to get tubed. But not many people were getting tubed at this point. This guy got a little hung up. Wave had nothing. It's pretty, but it definitely makes for, look at what happened. This one's great. Where'd he go? We saw this guy. Just hung up and belly flopping. There was really not much of an entry into that tube. I mean, maybe a little. He would have had to paddle a lot harder. Another one. That one looked open until it wasn't. And nearing the end here, another little wave. This guy, little grom, jumps off. Yeah, the evening was probably better for still photographs because you can see the light is so good. And the waves were rippable, and somebody could have ripped them. But to be honest with you, I did not see much ripping. A lot of missing and wiping out, and that is exciting. Picking the wrong waves. And yeah, you could tell the swell had a lot of funk in it, and it just kept getting funkier and funkier. I think that I'm going to do a what surfing really looks like of the session that happened the morning after this. We'll just pause it right there. Thank you guys for watching. You can see New York has waves, and I hope you could take a lot away from this what surfing really looks like. So much goes on in one session. This one, it was a mixed bag of great waves, wipeouts, students having out of rhythm sessions, me going in and out of rhythm in a session, people riding different boards, some lower body control over the tail stuff. I know you guys like these, so I'm going to keep making them. Thank you for your support. Like and subscribe, and I'll keep putting out this content for you. More waves, more joy. Stay stoked.